Did you know that some neighborhoods are built on secrets that refuse to stay buried? In 2021, genealogist Maria Williams was tracing property records for Willowbrook Estates when she found something chilling. The entire subdivision sat on top of an unmarked slave cemetery from the 1800s. But that wasn't the strangest part. Every family living there shared the same impossible experiences. Children sleepwalked to identical spots in their backyards each night. Parents found themselves compulsively planting herbs they'd never heard of, plants used in old African spiritual practices. Elderly residents spoke fluent languages they'd never learned, chanting words that made their neighbors' skin crawl. Maria dug deeper into the records. The developers knew about the graves. They knew, and they built anyway. But according to her research, they didn't just ignore the cemetery. They deliberately scattered the bones, breaking sacred burial patterns. The spirits weren't trying to scare anyone. They were trying to teach the living how to perform the proper rituals. Rituals that would finally let them rest. But someone made sure they never could. Follow Serial Talks for more.